I just spent 3 hours and 20 minutes running a single stage, which by the end of it, I actually ran 100 times back to back. And if you work that out in kilometers, 490 kilometers I've just done. All in the name of science for you guys, and for myself actually, to be honest. But we've got two things we need to find out. What is the fastest rally car? More so, what's the fastest rally car class? And what's the hardest car class to actually drive? So, how we worked this out, what we did, we flew over to Latvia. The stage we chose is Calvin. I chose this stage specifically because it's a pretty open, fast sort of stage. There's only one sort of slow corner in the middle. So a very fair testing ground for obviously rear drive, all drive, and front wheel drive. And what we've done 5 stage attempts per car class. Choose our best run for them all. And that's the one that we're going to go as a comparison. Interesting to note is I was always within 3 to 4 seconds off the #1 or the world record, so pretty bloody consistent. And the tuning method to keep this all very well balanced, I've only tuned 3 different things, which is added some negative camber, I've lowered the car down a few clicks, and I just adjusted the final gear ratio so it just touches on the limiter on one section, or it just doesn't touch on the limiter. So that's the only tuning method I've done, so it's pretty much a default setup, and I found within 3 to 4 seconds off world record pace, so very consistent. Let's get in, let's find out what's the hardest, what's the fastest, and yeah, just a freaking fun time, man. Let's see what happens. Alright, first off the bat is the H1 front wheel drive, going with the Vauxhall Nova Sport, which was made in 1987. The power is 93 brake horsepower and weight of 800 kilograms. I'm going to give this car, in terms of difficulty, out of 10. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. This is a very easy to drive, slow car, but a pretty good car to actually learn in rally the fundamentals of weight transfers, cornering, and some braking techniques. So yeah, overall a pretty fun one, this one.
200. Into crest, 220.
Finishing up, we got 97th on the leaderboard with only 4 seconds off the #1 pace, putting this one in obviously first position. Next up, going to the H2 front wheel drive class this time. We're in the Volkswagen Golf GTI 1986 model, 195 brake horse with 960 kilograms of weight. Gonna give this one a 4 out of 10 for difficulty, as with the speed and how twitchy this thing is, you can come undone pretty easily, but a cracker of a car. Really did enjoy this one. Very, very cool.
1 left, half long. 200. Crest, 220.
With a 2-minute 12, putting us at 42nd on the leaderboard, only 4 seconds off the leader pace. This goes to first position, knocking down the H1 front wheel drive to second. Moving on to the H2 rear wheel drive class, we've gone with the Ford Escort RS 1600 Mark I, which was made in 1972, 230 brake horsepower with 1,027 kgs of weight. This car is very, very twitchy, especially when you're putting it on the limit. So I'm actually going to give this one a 8 in terms of difficulty, because until you try it, you won't really understand what I'm trying to say, but it's just a very, very twitchy car on the limit, and some very quick inputs to just keep this thing in line. But thoroughly enjoyed this one. Very, very cool, and I do recommend it.
Crest, 220.
With a 2-minute 13, puts us as 29th, 7 seconds off the pace, but with the tune, with this, very hard to get good numbers, but it does change the positions up. H3 rear-wheel drive class, this time in the Ford Escort Mark II McRae Motorsport, which is a 2003 model, 335 brake horsepower with only 900 kilograms of weight. This thing, very difficult. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 as in difficulty, because when you're pushing this on a limit, this thing is just absolutely loose. The power to weight ratio is absolutely wild, and by far the most difficult car I have personally driven in this game. But if that isn't how you guys feel, let me know in the comments. With an absolutely insane time of 2:01, puts us at 11th on the world leaderboard, 3 seconds off the pace. So obviously, this becomes the new leader, but this car is wild, man. Moving on to the Group B rear-wheel drive cars, we've gone with the BMW M1 Pro Car Rally, which is a 1982 edition, 430 brake horsepower with 1,150 kilograms. This car is very, very loose, but I think the McRae is a little bit harder than this, so giving this a 9 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, but a phenomenal car, really awesome. You gotta try it, that's all I can say. This car class is awesome, very cool. Now what's crazy, with a 204, the McRae is actually faster than this car on this particular stage, so insane. This moves into second, pushing down the H2 front wheel drive. Moving on to the Group B four-wheel drive class, we've gone with the Peugeot 205 T16 Evo 2, which is a 1986 absolute beast, 500 brake horsepower with 1,000 kilograms, so another power to weight monster. This thing, very wild. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 in difficulty because the power to weight is crazy, but the old school aero and the old school handling make this thing particularly challenging, especially to the newer rally guys.
Into crest 220.
With an absolutely insane time of 1 minute 50.9. 35th on the leaderboard, goes to first place obviously, followed by the H3 rear-wheel drive and then the Group B rear-wheel drive. Moving into Group A, we have the Lancia Delta HF Integrale. 1992 this thing was born, 330 brake horsepower with a weight of 1,150 kg. Group A, fantastic class. I really do enjoy them. They are just so well balanced and the perfect power to weight ratio I find for, you know, beginners to medium sort of people. It's a very good car. As in terms of difficulty, they're not that hard to drive honestly, so I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10 for this. A bloody beautiful car with a 2 minute and 1 second, 34th on the leaderboard, knocking out the Group B rear-wheel drive, goes into second spot, but the H3 rear-wheel drive still hanging in there, pretty amazing. Now we move into the F2 kit cars. We've gone with Peugeot 306 Maxi, which was in 1996, 300 brake horsepower with a weight of 960 kg. This is a front wheel drive car and these are absolutely ludicrous. They are very quick. In terms of difficulty, I'm actually going to give it an 8 out of 10. These are very unique in the way to drive them. And with the power to weight ratio, if you're not really used to a front wheel drive, how to drive them can be pretty daunting and intimidating as well. So an 8 out of 10 for this one. Do recommend this car class, but on a asphalt stage, these are even more insane than what you're seeing here. So very, very cool. Deceptively quick with a 1 minute 57, puts us at 30th on the leaderboard there, but knocks out the H3 rear wheel drive. This goes into second place, beating the Group A. We move into the S1600 class. I've gone with the Renault Clio S1600, 220 brake horsepower with a weight of 980 kg. Another front wheel drive car class here. They're not too hard to drive. They're a pretty good beginner's entry into the front wheel drive class, I'd say, but they're pretty hard to keep on the limit because they're underpowered. You've got to really push them to get a good time overall. So with that, I'm going to give these probably a 5 out of 10, just because they're not that quick, but to get them pretty on the limit, you do have to hang on a bit. But yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
S220.
With a 2 minute 06, puts us at 38th, only 3 seconds off the pace, but the leaderboard remains unchanged. Moving on to the S2000 class, gone with the Peugeot 207, S2000, 2009, the power 280 brake horse with a weight of 1200. Again, another front wheel drive, but honestly these aren't that hard. The power to weight isn't insane, and pretty manageable car. So I'm going to leave this exact same rating as the previous, with a 5 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. But again, a pretty fun car class that doesn't really get a lot of love in the other games, actually, to be honest. It's pretty underlooked. Coming in with a 2:05, puts us at 55th on the leaderboard, 4 seconds off the pace. So yeah, not much more to say about it. Coming into the NR4 R4 class, we've gone with the DJM Motorsport McRae R4, which is from 2007, 340 brake horsepower with a weight of 1,000 kilograms. This is probably, I'd recommend saying, the most broken car class in all of the classes, because this car does not belong to the rest. We have a Subaru and a Lancer with this one, and this thing is just head and shoulder faster. But I guess it is what it is. Giving this one only a 6 out of 10. Not crazy hard to deal with, but still pretty interesting when it gets up in boogies. With a 2:03, this thing doesn't move the leaderboard at all, but a very cool car, and I do recommend it. We've got 50th on the world leaderboard for this one. Now we move into the Rally 4 car class. Went with the Renault Clio Rally 4, which is the 2021 edition. Power is 215 brake horse, with a weight of 1,080. These aren't particularly difficult, I'll be honest with you. They are a front wheel drive, so a little bit of nursing around the corners, but the power to weight is not crazy at all. So honestly, I'm going to sit this right at probably a 4 out of 10, this one. A lot easier than most of the other cars to drive this car class. With a 2:08, leaderboard doesn't change. We got 46th and only 3 seconds off the #1 pace, so pretty good, pretty good. Moving on to the Rally 3 class. Now, I went with the Renault Clio Rally 3, 260 brake horse, 1210 kilograms. Honestly, not much harder than the other one, so it's going to sit right at the same at a 4 out of 10 in difficulty. But these are a pretty cool platform. Obviously all-wheel drive, but yeah, not crazy at all. These are particularly very fun in Greece. I do recommend trying them in Greece, so you can learn the corners, and yeah, pretty forgiving overall. With a 2:03, leaderboard's unchanged, but pretty bloody quick. 37th and 4 seconds off the #1 pace. Moving into Rally 2. Gone with the Skoda Fabia RS Rally 2 from 2022. A lot of twos there. Power was 300 brake horsepower with a weight of 1230 kg. These are a very, very fun platform. Not crazy hard, but I'd put them one peg above the previous class. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. But the cool thing about these is they actually handle exceptionally well. So you can get some pretty good time and some good pace down because they just grip in, man. Very, very cool. And I do recommend these. These are very fun. The 2 minute puts us at 38th on the leaderboard, only 4 seconds off the pace, nudging out the Group A, so this one sits in 3rd now, but only by a second. Alright, this is where things start to heat up. We move into the World Rally Car from 1997 to 2011. I've gone with a Citroen C4 WRC, which is a 2010 model, 320 brake horse with 1230 kgs. This is probably one of my favourite classes in the game. I just love the variety, and the cars are all pretty level. But yeah, these really do. They handle amazing, and you can really bust out some pretty cracker times, man. Gonna give these ones a 6 out of 10 in terms of difficulty because they're not too crazy, but some of the speed you can get into the corners and stuff, you can get some pretty hairy situations. So yeah, pretty spicy. Coming in with a 156, only 3 seconds off the pace, puts us at 39th position. This nudges out and goes into 2nd, but how's that F2 kit car? Still hanging in there, man. Going into the World Rally Car from 2012 to 2016, from the Volkswagen Polo R WRC 2013 model. 315 brake horse with 1200 kilograms. These are pretty bloody quick. Usually, well, I'd say more so, the handling is amazing because it's got so much bloody downforce. These grip in really, really well and are a very, very competitive class. Gonna give this a 6 out of 10 as well. Not too crazy, but like the previous class, can get into some pretty wild situations. Now coming in with a minute 59. 3 seconds off the pace, 70th position. This doesn't change the leaderboard, which is insane to think that an F2 kit car is actually quicker than this car class. Mind-boggling. Now we move into the World Rally Car from 2017 to 2021. I've gone with the Ford Fiesta WRC 2019 model. This has 380 brake horsepower and 1,190 kilograms. These ones are just a touch above the previous. I find these very, very fun, but extremely ruthlessly brutal in terms of trying to get positions for a leaderboard. So for the sheer fact that it's just really hard and so competitive, I'm actually going to sit these at a 7 out of 10, believe it or not, guys. Rocketed in with a minute 53, this moves into 2nd position, only 2 seconds off the world record pace, so pretty amazing. And the WRC 97 to 2011 goes into 3rd. F2 kit car class has finally been defined. Alright, we move into the FIA Junior WRC car class. These are very, very cool. They are not quick by any means, but I highly encourage you guys to actually run these. They don't get much love, but they are quite a cool little class. I've gone with the Ford Fiesta Rally 3, which is a 2022 model, 230 brake horse of power with 1,210 kilograms behind her. Not a hard class at all, but very, very cool. For that reason, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for this, because you can get into some pretty wild situations, because the name of the game with this is average speed. Coming in with a 2 minute and 4:37 on the leaderboard and only 2 seconds off the world record pace, so pretty cool, man, but the leaderboard remains unchanged. Righto, things are spicing up now. We're in the WRC 2 car class. Gone with the Toyota GR Yaris Rally 2, which is 2024 variant. Power is 300 brake horse with a weight of 1,230 kilograms. These are very, very competitive. very nice and responsive to drive, and they're just so reactive to what you want to do. For that reason, they're not that hard to drive, as you can really control them very well. So I'm going to give them probably a 6 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, but a very cool class. And I do recommend these highly. They are pretty awesome machines, man. With a minute 59, we sit at 158th with 3 seconds off the pace. There's no idea how crazy the competitiveness of this class is, but yeah, does not tickle the leaderboards. And now the top dogs, WRC car class. Gone with the Toyota GR Yaris Rally 1 Hybrid, the 2024 variant. Power is 514 brake horsepower with a weight of 1260 kgs. Now these things have enough aero to actually probably grip the world and turn it, and for that reason alone they're not that difficult to drive, really. As long as you can learn how to drive these things, they are so reactive, and honestly the only thing that's going to push you over the edge is the actual speed, because these handle fantastic. Going to sit them right in 7 out of 10, just because they carry so much speed, but are they the quickest? With a minute 51.9, 188th, 3 seconds off the pace, but this comes second to the Group B 4-wheel drive. How crazy is this? So now let's go into the final leaderboard, tally them up, and see what got what. In first place is the Group B 4-wheel drive with a 1 minute 50.975. I just think this is just because it has the lack of aero with the horsepower, so you cannot match it in an open type of stage like this. Number 2 was the WRC class with a 1 minute 51.926, so pretty bloody close. Third, the WRC class from 2017 to 2021 with a 1 minute 53.548. Fourth, WRC 1997 to 2011 with a 1 minute 56.929. And fifth, which is probably quite a shock to you, me, and probably everyone else, is the F2 kit car, man. With a 1 minute 57.111, absolutely insane. Sixth, we have the WRC from 2012 to 2016, a minute 59.130. To think that is behind the F2 kit car, insane. Seventh, WRC2 with a minute 59.745. Eighth, the Rally 2 class, surprisingly, with a 2 minute flat 0.721. And then in ninth, the Group A, 0201.077, which is pretty, I thought it'd be quicker than that, but hey, it is what it is. In 10th was quite the shock to me with the H3 rear-wheel drive, which is that McRae Beast, 2 minute 01.676. 11th, the NR4 R4 class, 2 minute 03.451, which was that awesome McRae special. 12th was the Rally 3 car, a 2 minute 03.881, and which is pretty surprising to me was the Group B rear-wheel drive of 2 minute 04.372. But 14th was the biggest shock to me. A WRC Junior car was almost as quick as a Group B rear-wheel drive car. So how's that for just in terms of how good a thing can handle with a little bit of power? Pretty crazy. 15th, the S2000 with 2 minute 05.611. 16th, S1600, 206.874. 17th was the Rally 4 with 208.923. 18th, the H2 front-wheel drive, 2 minute 12.040, the old Volkswagen. 19th was the H2 rear-wheel drive, 2 minute 13.053. And in last place is the H1 front-wheel drive, 0228.94H, which happened to be McRae's first car in Rally, which was pretty cool. Let me know how you felt about this video. Consider a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. What was your favorite class? Leave a comment if you did not expect the Group B 4 drive to be in front, because I didn't, to be honest with you, but stage selection was key for this. And hey, if you want to support this channel, it's not something I really talk about much, but if you really do like the channel, you like me pumping out the content, and you know, you just like Rally, consider joining a channel membership. It's only very cheap, but honestly, any money I make from that channel membership or any donations or super chats, I literally put it back into the channel to have better quality content, upgraded sim gear, and just continue this passion that I have for Rally. And the only way I can do that obviously is within sim racing, because the budget doesn't allow a real life rally car. So there's that, man. Appreciate any comment, engagement on the channel. As always, guys, take it easy, have a good day, a good afternoon, and a good night. And I'm just gonna close out this, man. My favorite car class, I think it's still the Group B 4-wheel drive, man. I just cannot get separated from an Audi Quattro. 5 cylinders of damn fury. Yeah.